Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share and subscribe for more exciting food videos. In part 2, we dive deeper into adding aromatics, umami boosters, and perfecting your tear and aroma oils for the ultimate ramen experience. After you have chosen and cleaned your bones and added your aromatics, the real work begins. It is easy to think that once the broth is simmering, your job is done. However, how you manage the temperature and the resulting boil dictates the final flavor and clarity of your soup. The difference between a murky, greasy soup and a crystal clear, flavorful one comes down to simple heat control. We are not just cooking bones, we are performing a controlled extraction of flavor and gelatin over many hours. This demanding, slow process requires true patience. Remember, the goal is not to rush the process. The goal is to maximize flavor transition while maintaining the desired body and clarity. Chinten versus Peitan, controlling your boil. Ramen broth styles fall broadly into two categories based on how they are cooked, Chinten and Peitan. Knowing which style you are pursuing informs exactly how hard you should boil your pot. If you mess up this step, you will never achieve the desired outcome. Chinten, clear broth. Chinten means clear soup. This style, often used for classic shio or shoyu ramen, demands a very low, gentle heat. Think of it like a whisper, not a roar. Maintaining this low heat is vital for several reasons. Clarity preservation. When water boils aggressively, it forces the fat and small protein fragments, impurities, to agitate and mix with the liquid. This mixing causes the resulting broth to be cloudy or opaque. Controlled extraction. A gentle simmer slowly pulls gelatin and flavor from the bones without breaking down the fat and forcing it to emulsify. The goal is a clear liquid base with pure, distinct flavor. Peitan, creamy broth. Peitan means white soup. The most famous example is tonkotsu. This style demands the complete opposite technique of Chinten. Achieving Peitan's signature milky whiteness requires heavy labor and high heat throughout the process. Emulsification. To get that cloudiness, you need to break down the collagen, marrow, and fat with intense heat. A rapid, rolling boil is necessary to churn the liquid, forcing the emulsification of fat and gelatin into the water. High heat goal. The high heat causes the marrow and connective tissues to break down rapidly. This results in the thick, viscous texture and the rich, opaque white color that defines a creamy broth. Skimming the scum, maintaining a clean broth. Whether you are making a clear Chinten or a cloudy Peitan, the initial steps of simmering involve removing impurities. This task is crucial for flavor cleanliness, especially if you are aiming for Chinten style. Think of this process as cleaning the slate before the real extraction begins. When you first bring your bones to a temperature just below boiling, proteins and other impurities coagulate and rise to the surface. This collection of bubbles and gray foam is known as scum. If you leave it in the pot, it breaks down and eventually mixes into the broth, giving it a muddy taste and texture. Here is how you handle the skimming process effectively. Early focus. The vast majority of skimming takes place within the first hour or two of simmering. This is when the impurities are actively released from the bones. Gentle removal. Use a fine mesh strainer, or a specific skimming spoon, and gently lift the foam and scum off the surface. Do not stir the broth while skimming, as this pushes the impurities back into the liquid. Frequency. You should skim every 15 to 20 minutes until the surface is mostly clear. The clearer your surface remains after the initial boil, the cleaner your final broth will taste. Maintaining a clean broth ensures that you taste the high-quality bones and fresh aromatics, not boiled impurities. How long is long enough? Simmer time guidelines. Patience is what separates good broth from incredible broth. Ramen broth is a process that is measured in hours, not minutes. The duration varies wildly depending on the type of bone and the style of broth you are targeting. Here are some generally accepted minimum simmering times for various common styles. Clear chicken, chinten. Chicken carcasses. 4 to 6 hours. Light, clear, gelatinous. Standard pork, chinten. Pork bones/knuckles. 8 to 10 hours. Rich, deep flavor, clear. Deep tonkotsu, peiton. Pork femurs/trotters. 10 to 18 hours. Opaque, white, viscous. These times are solid starting points but never rely solely on the clock. You must rely on physical checks of the ingredients to determine readiness. A successful broth is one where flavor and texture are fully extracted. For bone-based broths, especially peiton, the process ends when the bones start to degrade easily. If you can easily crush a large piece of femur with tongs, you know the marrow and collagen have transferred. If the broth still looks thin and watery after 10 hours, keep pushing. Do not stop until the liquid texture coats the back of your spoon slightly. This stickiness confirms high gelatin content, ensuring the broth truly clings to your noodles when served. The grand finale, tear, aroma oils, and assembly. You have spent hours, perhaps an entire day, coaxing flavor from bones and aromatics. That effort resulted in liquid gold, your perfect ramen broth. But the broth itself is only half the story. If you were to taste that stock alone, it might seem flat or lack punch. The tear, thick seasoning concentrate, and the aroma oil are equally important, adding the necessary salinity, depth, and fragrance for the final, balanced profile. This step is where ramen truly finds its identity, moving from a simple stock to a rich, complex soup. Understanding tear, the heart of your ramen flavor. The tear is the ultimate flavor controller of any ramen bowl. It is a concentrated seasoning base that provides salt, umami, and the characteristic flavor profile of the soup. Think of it as the soul of the dish. Unlike most soups where you simply salt the finished product, the tear goes into the bowl first. The hot broth is then poured over it. This preparation dictates the entire style of the ramen you made. There are 3 main styles defined by their tear. Shoyu tear. This uses various types of soy sauce as its base, often mixed with mirin, sweet rice wine, sake, and sometimes dried seafood or mushrooms to build complexity. Shoyu gives the broth a complex, dark, and highly savory flavor. Shio tear. Meaning salt, shio relies on sea salt as the dominant seasoning. Chefs often mix that salt with clear liquids derived from kombu, kelp, or high-quality dried fish stocks. This approach allows the pure flavor and color of the bone broth to shine through, resulting in the lightest and clearest finished ramen. Miso tear. This uses fermented soybean paste, miso, as the base. Miso tear introduces a deep, earthy, nutty flavor that often works well with richer, heavier broths like tonkotsu. Because miso is itself an intense concentrate, a lighter miso broth usually requires less base stock than shoyu or shio. A successful tear is thick, savory, and powerfully concentrated. You need only a tablespoon or 2 per serving to transform a plain stock into a fully flavored ramen. Aromatic oils, adding a layer of fragrance. Aromatic oils are the final flourish, adding fragrance and a pleasant slickness to the surface of the soup. While the broth provides body and the tear provides flavor, the oil delivers an immediate sensory experience, highlighting specific notes as you eat. They also help trap heat in the bowl, keeping your ramen hotter for longer. Aromatic oils are simple to make at home. The process involves gently infusing fat with powerful aromatics through low, controlled heat. You are extracting the oil-soluble compounds into the fat. 2 popular examples you can easily make include scallion oil, negi abara. Finely chopped green onions, scallions, and gently heat them in neutral vegetable oil or lard until they soften and the oil smells intensely fragrant. This green oil provides a fresh, sharp flavor that complements almost any ramen style. Black garlic oil, mayu. This oil is made by heating garlic until it is completely caramelized and almost black, then blending it into oil. Mayo provides an intensely smoky, bitter, and nutty flavor that is classic for richer Kyushu-style tonkotsu ramen. The color contrast alone makes it visually arresting. The quality of your aroma oil significantly impacts the overall impression of the soup. You want a clear fragrance without any burnt or off tastes. The assembly method, warm bowls and layering. The final step is arguably the most satisfying, assembly. You have all the parts, but the order and temperature must be perfect to maximize the experience. Serving ramen hot is not an option, it is a requirement. Pre-warming your serving bowls is essential for this reason. A cold bowl will instantly steal precious heat from your 18-hour broth, making the soup lukewarm quickly. Follow this layering method for a perfectly balanced bowl. Pre-warm the bowl. Fill your serving bowls with boiling water for a minute, then dump the water out and dry the bowls. This simple step ensures maximum heat retention. Add the tier. Place the calculated amount of your chosen tier, usually 30 ml to 45 ml, about 2 tablespoons, into the bottom of the warm bowl. Add the aroma oil. Drizzle a small amount of your prepared aromatic oil over the tier. Pour the broth. Ladle the smoking hot ramen broth directly over the tier and oil mixture. Stir vigorously with the ladle just once or twice to ensure the tier is fully mixed into the broth. Add noodles. Immediately place your perfectly cooked, drained noodles into the broth. The noodles should be submerged completely. Place toppings. Arrange your toppings neatly on the surface. This includes chashu, pork, egg, scallions, nori, seaweed, and bamboo shoots. Serving ramen in layers ensures the tier is fully diluted, the oil provides a beautiful fragrance, and the heat is maintained, delivering the full flavor profile you worked so hard to achieve. The secret to true ramen depth centers on 3 clear principles: dedication to quality ingredients, skillful balancing of intense umami, and precise temperature control during the simmer. Remember, the journey begins not with a magic recipe, but with spotlessly clean bones and clean water. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.